Alright, today I'm going to spend a little time talking about light and fast backpacking. I have for a while now really liked the idea of crossing vast sections of land on foot in a multi-day effort. And as far as I know, there's only one 100 plus mile race available in Denmark, and those are usually quite expensive. I've done most of my ultra running on my own with no race to incentivize me, and a bunch of them I've also done self-supported. So I thought the FKT style is probably more my kind of tea, my kind of cup of tea. An FKT attempt will combine the aspect of multi-day effort and self-organized racing in a package that I really like. So that's why I'm today spending a bunch of time figuring out my pack, trying to lighten it as much as possible and see how minimalistic I can go about it. Because the idea is that I'm gonna need to be able to run with it on, and it should be as light and functional as possible.
I will be using the Salomon XA 25 liter pack. It compresses really nicely and has served me well in some of my self-supported runs. It weighs 443 grams, including 2 soft flasks. This is my sleeping bag. It's the Neverwinter from Mammoth, and it's coming in at 850 grams. My pack liner is just gonna be this trash bag, and it weighs 62 grams. I've watched some YouTube shorts about cool people on their through hikes and how they pack their bags. So I will try to put my sleeping bag in the bottom, just like them. This did not work for me at all, and I ended up putting it in the top instead. The pillow, 74 grams. 72 grams without the cover. No need to bring that with me. My notebook plus a few pens and a tiny marker. 135 grams. This is the food I'm gonna bring with me. No stove, no cold soaking, just straight trash right out the bag. I got 2 Ziploc bags. These are my snack bags for the day. Salty and sweet. The candy comes in at 340 grams, 356 calories per 100 gram. And the salted peanuts come in at 250 grams and are at 654 calories per 100 gram. I wanted to see what a large food carry looks like with my pack, so that is why I've chosen to carry a lot more calories than I actually need. I got some M&Ms, 45 grams, wine gums, 330 grams, påskeskum, 100 grams, roasted peanuts, 500 grams, banana chips, 250 grams, raisins, 250 grams, and the walnuts, 200 grams. I'm ditching the licorice and the sour sweets. I don't think my body's gonna handle that very well. And here are some additional things I'm bringing. My power bank plus charger and cables, 360 grams. Forgot the head torch. It's actually 467 grams. Small emergency access toilet paper, 24 grams. A whole roll of toilet paper, 140 grams. My first aid kit consisting of sports tape, some normal tape, Imodium, painkillers, and Compete, weighing 27 grams. Toothpaste, floss, and toothbrush, 94 grams. Quick drying towel, 193 grams. Soap, 93 grams. Vaseline, 49 grams. Multi-tool, including its cover, 76 grams. Spare batteries for my Insta360 X3, 79 grams. Spare batteries for my Insta360 Ace Pro, 72 grams. and it's already a bit hard to get into the bag. This is my sleep system. It consists of a tarp poncho, 405 grams, some extra rope, 20 grams, some tent stakes, 159 grams, a mosquito net, 135 grams,
130.
and a ground cover, which also is a survival blanket, 103 grams. These are the clothes I'm gonna be wearing once I'm done hiking for the day. My Salomon hiking pants, 291 grams. My socks, 38 grams. My tights, 95 grams. My long sleeve shirt, 176 grams. And a woolen shirt, 265 grams. All of these clothes could also be used for hiking should I feel the need. I'm gonna bring these 4 soft flasks with me, 2 500 milliliters and 2 750 milliliters. Alright, I'm just gonna bring the 1 750 milliliter bottle. Almost forgot, this is my sleeping pad, weighing in at 366 grams. I'm also gonna bring this running belt with me to even the weight out a bit and to have some more stuff available while walking. In this I'm gonna have my clip mount, 162 grams. My TP and multi-tool are actually gonna be stored inside the belt. My phone plus credit card, 237 grams. My telescope selfie stick, 199 grams. The belt itself, 69 grams. The Insta360 Ace Pro, 181 grams. And the Insta360 X3, 173 grams.
I thought my pack setup was terrible, but it ended up only weighing 8.9 kilograms. And this is including 8,700 calories and 1.75 liters of water, which I found quite surprising since it was really hard to close. But I still find that weight a bit excessive, so I'm gonna try to cut it down a bit now.
A whole roll of TP is too much. Now I have 54 grams with me. 93 grams of soap is too much. 20 grams seems more fitting. But never cut soap with a multi-tool like I just did. It was completely covered and it was really hard to get off. My notebook is also way too big. Let's cut that in half, if I can do that.
The result of my Magnus Opum hair, down to 41 grams. I ended up cutting 700 grams in weight, which I'm quite satisfied with. Today we're going for a hike. I'm currently still recovering from my injury, and this means that I won't be able to do any big days. I won't be able to do any long runs or long days out. So I thought it would be a great idea for me to do some hiking, because I still believe that is possible. I thought about doing a 50k hike today, but it seemed a bit overkill. I want to have some time to respond to any flare-ups that might happen during this hike. So I just skipped the boring part and took public transportation all the way out into the countryside, which is where I'm currently at. 50k hike. This is also a possibility for me to test my potential FKT setup. I'm thinking about doing some multi-day travel FKT style challenges in the future, and a decent pack is a must for such things. I'm currently 3 kilometers in, and I must say this pack feels really light. I've done some packing before in the past, but never really put much consideration into limiting the pack weight, and I've put quite some effort into doing it this time. I think everything at the current moment weighs under 10 kilograms, and that's including 8,700 calories and 1.75 liters of water. I think the last time I hiked, I had a pack that weighed around 20 kilos. So the reason I went out for a hike instead of doing a long bike ride, for example, is that I believe that there's some knowledge you only gain by doing things and not reading about them or thinking about them. A thing like my pulse belt sitting exactly at the right spot to support my backpack, providing me with additional support and access to a few things like my cameras, easy access while walking, which saves a lot of time. Yeah, I think I couldn't have read about that anywhere. I packed and repacked my backpack like 4 or 5 times. Every time something went out, every time I did something different, and it turned out to be way better. I think I know a little more about it now than I did before. I think easily I could go less than my current weight, saving a bunch of stuff, figuring out what I really need. Little more than 10k in, trying to keep up the speed. I'd like to go above 5 kilometers an hour. Also check my watch, and my heart rate was about 135 at some points. So this is also great, low impact, easy aerobic exercise, which I think actually will do quite nicely for a challenge like running 100 miles. It seems like the route I picked up was primarily made for bikes. It goes along a lot of big roads, and I'm a bit more fan of scenery like this. So I'm just keeping track of the map on my watch and following somewhere near the red line, just along some more pleasant looking paths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different paths. I think this place is quite special to me because this is exactly halfway from my apartment. You can either run 50 kilometers that direction or 50 kilometers that direction, I believe, and end up at my apartment. It's exactly halfway. So 6 months ago I was here at the 50k mark running my 100 kilometer self-supported ultramarathon. So it's quite fun being back here and actually sweating a bunch, because last time I was here it was in the middle of November, I believe, or October, so it was crazy cold. I've hiked about 17.6 kilometers. I got about 11 left before I'll take a bigger break and then hike the last section until the camping area. So, yeah, more than halfway. 4.5 hours, 20 kilometers of hiking. And the candy bag is empty. I got about 600 milliliters of water and I've eaten a bunch of peanuts. I think my pack functions decently well, but I will try to bring a lot less stuff with me should I try to make an actual FKT attempt. I think I'll just go with one camera and a tiny tripod. I'm 26.5 kilometers in. I've been hiking for 6 hours now, a little less than 6 hours, and I'm falling a little bit asleep on the pace, so I'm currently just trying to power hike the last few kilometers before I'll take my first real break. I've stocked up on a bit of water and 2 Ultralight drinks, and I've also bought some patties at a famous grill. The place I've been trying to hike to, you could say, almost all day. It's somehow quite difficult to get here on foot, so you need to do a bunch of crossing at weird places, and yeah, it's just been a bunch of loud streets and stuff like that, so it's really great that I can look forward to having just these lovely roads in, I think, the second biggest forest in Denmark. This is the lake I've been looking for. I'm going to take a rest right around this corner somewhere, and that marks my 30k hike. I am somewhat thinking about switching campsites, so I will have a bit shorter. up with a friend at the lake and decided to ditch the last few kilometers and the campsite. We drove back to his place and I set my tarp up in his garden. This entire trip has taught me a lot about packing my pack and how to set up my tarp. And I'm probably gonna do a bunch of stuff different now. I felt the pack was a bit too heavy for my taste, so going forward I'm gonna try to reduce that weight, and I've already been thinking a lot about how I could reduce the weight. I would limit my camera gear to just the one camera without any additional batteries. I'm maybe thinking about keeping one battery, but that's only in the case that I'm gonna go with a lighter power bank. I'm also maybe gonna take a light mini tripod with me, and that's only 50 grams. I think I could save a lot of weight on my clothing. Both my hiking pants and my wool shirts were quite heavy, and I could probably do without them or do with some lighter versions of them. My power bank weighs 283 grams, and my entire power cable setup, including the headlamp, was quite heavy at 465 grams. So I think there's a lot of optimization I can do here. I probably could invest in a lighter power bank or just take one with less power with me. I might also consider ditching my pillow. It weighs 72 grams and it's not that amazing, and I could probably just do with some clothes folded into each other. I could also easily have picked a lighter towel. I'm thinking that all of these changes could probably reduce my base weight with about 1.5 kilograms. This would bring my base weight down to 4.2 kilograms without food and water. And since we're talking about food, there's also some things that I could have done to pack more effectively. With the food options I chose, I got 8,700 calories for 1,730 grams. And I've been doing some calculations. If I went with 80% walnuts and peanuts and 20% candy, I could have packed 10,389 calories for the same weight. Or I could have saved 200 grams of weight for the same amount of calories. So these are a bunch of things I'm gonna try out for my next hike. None of my stuff has been multi-day tested. I don't know if I can sustain myself only on cold food and go entirely stoveless. I'll need to figure that out in coming trips, but for now this is where I'm at, and I'm really looking forward to trying out this in a multi-day effort style.